Okay, this is the story of Hansel and Gretel. Hansel und Gretel auf Deutsch. Okay, there was once a family that lived, of course, deep in the woods. The father was a woodcutter. The stepmother, his wife, not the children's mother, Hansel, the boy, and Gretel, the girl, daughter, son and daughter. They were very poor. The father worked very hard, but they were very poor nevertheless. And at one point there was a famine, F-A-M-I-N-E, in the land. We hear about that in some stories. And food was scarce, problems. So one night, after the children were in bed, the stepmother said to father, her husband, I think we must take a walk into the woods with the children tomorrow and abandon them in the woods. Terrible idea, terrible story. Harsh, hard story, really. And the father did not say no. Hansel overheard this story and told Gretel about it. And so that night, when the moon was up and father and stepmother were in bed asleep, Hansel went outside and gathered white pebbles, white stones, small ones, put them in his pocket. The next morning, husband and wife, father and stepmother said, come children, we're going to take a walk into the woods and cut some wood. So they all went on a long walk deep into the forest, but Hansel, we say, very cleverly, from time to time, dropped a white pebble so that he would be able to find his way back home. Finally, they stopped in the woods. The children slept for a while, and father and stepmother went off to cut wood. They woke up when the moon was shining already, and of course, father and stepmother had not come back to find them, had abandoned them. Very disturbing story. Stepmothers are almost always wicked in stories, but father? Terrible. Anyway, sorry. Hansel and Gretel found their way back home because of the white pebbles. Stepmother was very angry to when she saw them. Bad children, why did you sleep so long? But really she was angry because they had come back. The next day, early in the morning, they got up again to take a walk. This time Hansel did not have time to gather the white pebbles. So this time he dropped breadcrumbs from his bread from time to time so that they might be able to find their way back. And once again, they went even deeper into the woods. Father and stepmother left them there to sleep. Once again, they got up later. Father and stepmother had abandoned them. But this time Hansel couldn't find his way back because birds had eaten the breadcrumbs. Wow, terrible. So they slept again, and when they woke up, a white bird was flying near them, and apparently they followed the bird. Soon they came upon a house in the woods made of gingerbread. Gingerbread, delicious. So they were so hungry that they broke off pieces of the house and ate it. And suddenly they heard a gentle voice saying, nibble, nibble, who's nibbling on my house? The door opened, and there was an old woman. She invited them in, much as a kind of halmoni, I think, kind of a grandmotherly person. And she gave them a delicious meal of pancakes and apple. They ate heartily, and then she grabbed Hansel, and then they slept. While they were sleeping, she apparently made or put together a cage, and when they woke up, she grabbed Hansel and put him into the cage and locked the door. Gretel out, not in the cage. Her plan was to feed Hansel very well, make him fat, and then cook him and eat him. But she wanted him to be fat, plump. So every day she would give Hansel lots of food. And then after about 4 weeks, she said, okay, give me. So she would insist on, her eyesight was not good. So she asked to feel his finger every day to see if he was gaining weight. He very cleverly extended to her a bone like this. She felt it, not seeing well, and thought he was still very thin. This was a good trick. Notice all these clever tricks by Hansel. The trail of pebbles and then bread didn't work. The clever bone trick. Then the witch, the wicked witch, was becoming impatient. So she built a fire, a big fire in the oven. And in this kind of oven, apparently, one has to climb up stairs. Must have been a very large oven. Climb upstairs to open the door to look inside. So she had planned to cook Hansel inside that big oven. She ordered Gretel to go up the stairs, open the door of the oven to check to see if the fire was burning, how should we say, mightily. Gretel, clever also, pretended not to be able to do this, not climb the stairs, not open the door, I'm not sure, maybe not open the door. The witch, once again impatient, climbed the stairs, I don't know how many, maybe 2 or 3, opened the door to look in, and Gretel, wow, brave little girl, pushed the witch from behind strongly. The witch fell into the fire, and then Gretel closed the door. Clever children, wow, and brave too. I wonder how many children could do that. I don't know. Anyway, then she went and rescued Hansel. They looked around the house and they found many things. They found gold, jewelry, diamonds, emeralds, all kinds of things. They stuffed these in their pockets and they left. They walked through the woods. They came to a kind of lake or river. It must have been a river, but lake it says, and they didn't know how they could cross it. Along came a swan, a big white swan, and they apparently asked the swan if the swan would carry them across the lake. The swan apparently said yes, and so the swan carried first Gretel, then came back and carried Hansel over across the lake. And when they were on the other side of the lake, they recognized the setting, the woods, I guess, and easily found their way home. Father was so glad to see them. Meanwhile, stepmother had died, and Father, I guess, was especially glad to see the children when the children gave him all their acquisitions, the things they had acquired or gotten, the jewelry, the gold, and valuable things. And so the 3 of them lived happily ever after.